Okay, so it is actually 6:31. I've tried to give everybody enough time. If I can bother you all, it's a little hard to talk to myself in names. Do y'all mind turning on your video and sound? Awesome, I can see Alexis.
I will point out one thing. I got a toddler running around, so I might have to mute it.
Okay, I promise you. Yes, you can mute whenever you need to. So good, everyone's here. Let's see. Access. I don't have access to a camera. That's okay, Ben. Can you hear us well? Sweet. Hi, how y'all doing? Come on, respond. How y'all doing?
Good.
You know, it's really hard. I have to laugh. It's really, really hard. Oh, how cute. Look at the curls, everybody. How adorable. Oh.
I'm sorry. You'll be joining us for the class.
Look, I promise you, you are perfectly fine. This is something I threw in there because what I've realized in the past is you ever text somebody or email someone, or you get an email or text and realize, did they mean what I think they meant? Or, were they being rude when they said that? You can actually get a little confused by text or email sometimes. So I kind of thought it would be really good to start off this first week so we could have a face-to-face and I could actually kind of get to tell everybody exactly what to do and what not to do, so you could have the best grades when you leave here and have the very best digital publisher. I'd say people get a little confused because when you look at the actual rubric, it says an app. Have y'all noticed that?
Yes.
Erase app from your mind.
Okay.
Because for the most part, I'm going to tell you, yes, look at the rubric. You definitely need to start there, right? But it's imperative that you actually go to my announcements. You may look at it and think, oh my God, this is wordy. Is she crazy? I'm going to tell you right from the start, it's a demanding class. It is quite a bit of information. If you read it and follow directions, I promise you'll be fine. I am accessible if you need me for anything. Don't holler to email. And I'm going to say email is normally the best way. Sometimes it takes a little longer to see if you've put a question in the general questions area. Not saying don't, you can do that as well, but it is a little faster for me to actually see when someone's emailed me because I'll have my email on my phone. So I will always be able to see when someone's emailed me. And by the way, saying that, I had a poor student last semester. I kept emailing her and I was freaking out because I was like, man, she's not getting any of this right and she's not doing well. And I can't seem to get her to respond to me. She was never looking at her email, never. And I was constantly emailing her and she finally looked at it like, seriously, y'all, the last week of class. So it was horrible. She had so much work that wasn't done right that she wasn't able to see. So I'm definitely going to say, if you don't have your email set up on your phone, it's not hard to do. It's the best thing ever, though. I promise you. You know what? I remember when we didn't have cell phones. If I didn't leave the house with this, y'all, I'd turn around and go back home because it's just, I kind of feel naked without it. It sounds crazy, right? But everything is done right here. Like every year, and I stopped doing it. I'm not doing it anymore. Last year, I decided, nope, no more. I would buy a planner every single year. I write it in the first day I get it, and that's it. I did. And so I realized I can put everything in my phone, and it just honestly is so much easier because I always have it with me. So just saying, say it again.
I feel you on that planner. I always like making my own planners.
Yeah, I mean, I will spend has anyone ever heard of Erin Condren? Okay.
Kinda.
She makes the most beautiful planners. They're gorgeous. They're arm and a leg. After buying that one, that's when I realized I'm doing this again because I spent a lot of money and didn't use it. So needless to say, cell phone, y'all, go ahead and put your email on there so that way you can see it, because I can promise you I'm going to email you weekly. So getting back to the rubrics. Yes, look at the rubrics, but I can promise you You really want to look at the announcements. Okay. I can look at that rubric and read it and think, what the heck are they saying? It can be a little bit confusing. So has anybody even looked at it yet? Like the start of it? Like, so I can promise you that you'll probably read it and have questions. Go to the announcement as soon as you glance over the rubric, go to the announcement. Once you go through everything on the announcement, if you have questions, holler at me. What I will also do is I like to try to take the what do you call it? I can't talk, the announcement, and I'll send out an email to actually kind of give you information in more than one place. I do that because I realize people are not reading the announcement, right? So it's a little sad when I notice people are not reading the assignment and not reading the email as well, then they're not doing really well. So I can tell you that definitely, if you look at those announcements, read through them, as well as looking at the videos, you'll be perfectly fine. Cool?
Yes.
Sweet. Okay, so let's see, let me move on here. So I kind of, let me just say this. What I've noticed also in the past is that people will, besides not reading the announcement, not understand how you're being graded. So I did make some, I don't know if you all looked at that announcement yet, but I did make sure to go over that because literally I'm not in control of your grades. Let me just put it that way. Besides the fact that, yes, you are in control and it's based on what you've done. I can't decide how many points are taken off if you hadn't done something, right? So whatever you do, I'm actually checking off, yes, they did this. No, they didn't do that. Yes, they did this. No. And it's automatically calculating the grades for you. So I can't say, well, it wasn't that bad. They just didn't do so-and-so. So I'm just going to take off a few points. I don't have the access to do that. It's going to automatically take off the points itself. So I want you all to be aware that you really want to look at it and see exactly what it's asking you to do exactly what it says. And I promise you, you can get the best A's out of this world. I promise you. Okay. So let me move back over here. I want to go ahead and share my screen. Make sure I don't have anything up there that scare y'all after that. Okay, so we can see module 1, am I right?
Yes.
Sweet. Okay, so surely you all have actually looked and realized that you have 8 modules. Obviously, we know this, it's norm for everything, right? Make sure that when you look in module 1 that you're actually looking at this stuff, okay? It's there for a reason. I can promise you that when you go in and it's giving you the introduction, you really do want to look at some of these. And some of them, maybe even once you actually click on them, let's just say we went to this one in design skills. I didn't expect to see her sitting there right there. Wow, okay. Let's move this a little bit, close that. Yeah, she frightened me a little bit. I thought, we don't need naked pictures on here for class. They're gonna give me a heart attack. Okay, so by the way, I'm a little crazy. So since y'all see me face to face, now you get a little vibe of who I am, right? So when you go in here, you can see that it's tutorials, templates, all kind of things in here. So a lot of times I'll realize that people are not looking at things. They'll have questions. I'm thinking to myself, you're asking me something that you should have read. So I know that you're not reading. So you can go through and look and get, different ideas on different things dealing with InDesign. They've got 5 million tutorials, and it's just a really good way to actually figure out some things that you may not know. You'll also notice that I'm going to actually send you things like videos and links to videos and things so that you actually can make sure that you are doing the best you can and up to par with what you have to do in your assignment. But do please make sure that you actually look at these things. They're there for a reason. So you want to make sure that you're understanding and knowing exactly what you're supposed to do there. So that's not where I want to be. Does your stuff look anything like this?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if I was showing you stuff and you're thinking, what in the world is she showing me here? All right, so let me just say, if you start here, obviously you get to see what the syllabus looks like. And this is where, yes, you want to make sure that you are paying attention to exactly what you're doing. The discussion rubric is not going to change. It's always going to be the same. For your discussion, I sent out an email. No one has done the discussion yet. Y'all are scaring me. OMG. I have never had a class where here it is Wednesday and not one person has gotten in there. I'm like,
I
oh,
have it on a Word document, but I'm nervous to submit it because citations, I took some of my own pictures and I'm like, I don't know if I did it right. So
okay, let me
I
say, oh
have
my God.
it and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to be the first. I wanted to check it against someone else's.
Tanya, okay.
That's
Tanya,
exactly what
thank you,
I've been
thank you,
doing.
Thank you. So let me say this, y'all. There's another thing. Please, please, please. When you actually do your discussions, do them in Word and then copy and paste. Why? This is another thing. If you're in Word, it's gonna either have a red zigzag underneath that shows you it's not spelled quite right, right? Or it may have two blue lines underneath saying something ain't right about this, right?
Yeah.
Pay attention to that and fix it. You would not believe how many people actually ignore it. Like they don't realize that it's actually telling you something's not quite right. Now, do know there are times when, let's just say, it may miss some things like the word to, T-O, T-O-O, T-W-O. We know those are all two, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it may be that you're saying, this happened to me too, which means it would be T-O-O, but you put T-O, so it's not going to catch it. Does that make sense? So there's some things that may miss, but for the most part, it's telling you something ain't right. So look at it. And if you know it's just something that it should be ignored, then great. But beyond that, yes, check those things, get your spelling right. And doing everything in Word and copy and pasting makes life much easier. My daughter, funny enough, is actually taking an online class. And she wrote something, she said it was about 9 pages long, but guess what? She did it directly in the prompt. And she went to actually add in her image and something happened, it crashed and she lost everything she did. So I was telling her, look, you got to do it in a Word document, copy and paste it. It would have been in a Word document. All she would have had to do is just copy and put it back in there, right? So do that, work in Word, makes life easy, I promise you. But anyway, it's telling you all specifically what you're graded on, okay? So make sure that you look at these things as well, okay? It's, oh my God, imperative. This is never gonna change as far as the rubrics is concerned. So just know this is what you need to be looking at, right? Okay, back. It's always hard when I have too much stuff up here. Let's close this up a little bit. Now I'm fighting the screen. There we go. Now I can see. All righty. Move that there. All right, so let's back that up. So, the very first thing you're going to do is going to be next week for your design brief. Let me say this. Hold up, let me back up just a little bit. I want to get off of discussions. Every single discussion you do, you're going to either be evaluating something, a website, whatever the case may be, a digital publishing site, whatever it is, make sure that you take a screenshot and go ahead and embed that image into your actual post. So that doesn't mean you're going to have a link in there. That means that when we open it up, we can see exactly what it is that you were evaluating. Make sense?
Yes.
To everybody?
Yes.
Hey, awesome. I have issues. Ignore when I actually have the craziness come over every once in a while because it happens. Can't help myself. So anyway, let's get off of that. Every single time you post, you will have an image in there. So don't forget that. One last thing, I'm not getting off it yet. Citing is so important, y'all. I noticed that points are taken off more for citing than anything in the world. And it's really not hard to do. Once you get started and you know where to look and what to do, what needs to be put on there, it shouldn't take time at all to do it. don't lose those points for nothing. I do have an announcement on that as well. So if you're not really sure of exactly how to do it, go ahead and check out the announcement, because I told literally from you actually taking your own image. And Tanya, didn't you say you did that as well?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
so
did.
make sure that you look at that announcement about citing, and it's going to tell you exactly how you should do it for an image that you took. Cool?
Okay, yep.
Sweet. All right, so now let's move on. As far as the design brief, once again, y'all pay attention to the rubric as far as what it's actually going to be grading you on. So when it actually says, let's see. So we're talking about the background. The background right here, and I'm going through this for the simple fact that this is where we start, and this is where everyone's problem starts if they don't actually get it right from the very beginning. So background, from the start, it says, what magazine have you selected to convert from print to digital? Now it's completely up to you what you decide to choose. Are you kidding me? I really hate Zoom a lot.
Fine.
Okay, so I'm not paying for it, and I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Hold up. Yeah, we ain't paying you. So I got 10 minutes, so I'm gonna make this fast, y'all. Y'all with me?
Yes.
Go back to where you were, girl. Crap. There, okay. All right, so background. You wanna make sure that you choose something that you really like, okay? Something that you feel like you will have fun doing. If not, it's gonna be a little harder to do it. So when you think about the magazine, think about something that you really enjoy. So outline the goals and purposes of the project. It tells you what the goals and purposes are. You already know for a fact that it's telling you you're going to have to actually do a design brief, a magazine based on being from print to digital, or point blank that you're creating your own digital. So you know that it has to be a digital project magazine. What have you been asked to do? That's what you were asked to do. These are easy questions in the beginning. It should be no problem for you to get it. All right, what is the purpose of making the changes you have been actually tasked to? So right here, really, you just want to think about the fact that it's asking you, excuse me, if it's a print magazine, what is really going to be the thing that you do different with your digital magazine, where people can still actually get enjoyment out of it, get the information that they need, and really enjoy going through your magazine? It's a easy question, but I think people overthink it. So just be careful and make sure to answer the questions that are asked. What are the potential risks and rewards of using the method to actually reach your goal? So what are the risks? It could be anything, because let's just say that you are actually creating a magazine. Oh my gosh, tennis. Yeah, I don't know nothing about tennis. I don't even know why I thought about tennis. Okay. So let's say that you are doing it so that the younger generation would prefer, using their phone. They like digital. So that could be a reward, right? Because they prefer not to actually have a printed magazine. There's just about anything, any way you can answer these questions, honestly, to actually get your A. Just answer them, right?
Okay.
So another thing, it's up to you what you choose. You can create your own if you want. The only thing with creating your own, you have to make sure that you are actually answering every single question. So some things you may actually make up on your own. Does that make sense? So
Yes.
let's say you decided you wanted to do it on jewelry company. You've created your own jewelry company. That means you have to have a logo for that jewelry company. I'm going down the road, of course. Right now, you don't have to worry about all that. But you want to make sure that you are looking at what each thing is telling you. You want to make sure you're answering all of these questions. It asks on the second one about the target market, it actually asks you, what's the information architecture components? If you don't know what information architecture is, that means you have to look and see what it means, right? So a lot of times people will actually skip stuff because they don't know what it means. Well, that doesn't mean you don't answer it. That means you have to make sure you know what it means. Well, if they looked at the resources in the beginning, it told you what it was. So make sure you don't miss out on reading anything, okay? Because that's where people get confused and get messed up. So just make sure that you're answering all of these individual questions and you'll be fine, okay? Now, this is the actual trick to it. Only answer the questions. Don't add an extra. Why? Because you only have 500 to 700 words. I need you to realize, let's say I have 20 of you all in the class. If everybody decided that they were going to do 1,000, 2,000 words, I'm screwed because there's no way in the world I can get to read everybody's. Does that make sense? 500 to 700 words. Answer only the questions that it asks. Don't add an extra because it feels like it's something that you need to do. Just the question, answer it. That's it. Cool?
Yes.
Sweet. All right, let's move on because they trying to get me to pay them 5 minutes. We ain't gonna pay them, y'all. So you got to get it in there. Okay, there's one other. Let me make sure I got everything I thought about. Whoop. Move over here. Submission. Okay. So when you submit stuff, this is what I need you to do. You're always going to zip your files. Is there anybody that does not know exactly how to do that? Okay, so let me say this. If you know how to do it, it's 5 million ways to do one simple thing, okay? So I'm gonna tell you how I need you to do it because I need you to do it in a way that it actually makes sense for me. Come on here, why are we fighting everything today? There we go. All right, so don't you cancel. All right, so let's say I have stuff over here somewhere. I'm on the wrong side. Let's move this over here. Looking at my time, I got 4 minutes. Close. All right, so let's say these two things here I need to actually put in a zip folder, right? Let's say that those are my actual projects and I want to make sure that I get those in my zip folder. All right, first thing I'm going to do, let's say I'm working from my desktop, doesn't really matter. But anyway, I'm going to right click, right? Make a new folder. And my new folder's up here. So my new folder will always actually be, or any folder, it's going to be my last name at all times. Y'all with me?
Okay.
So, for me, obviously that's going to be Latham. So you will put your last name underscore, and then it's going to be determined on whatever project you're working on. So let's say your next one will be the design brief that you have to turn in, right?
Yes.
It's module 2. And you'll notice it's 2-2. So it's telling me that it's module 2 and it's the design brief, which is the, so to say, assignment 2. So it's 2-2. So just know, look at it, see what it is. And for the most part, it's always going to be like 2-2, 3-2, 4-2, so on and so forth. That's what you need to actually have on there. Your last name underscore and whatever the module is, 2-2, 4-2, 7-2, whatever it is. Make sense?
Yes.
So I should see that. So right now, that is, my folder is jumped. It's right here. So let's say I take my screenshots here and I'm going to put them in my folder. I got my stuff there, right? We good? My
Yes.
folder's now ready. I got whatever projects, assignments I need to have in there. It's in there. Now all I have to do is right click it. Now, if you are working on a Mac, when you right click, you'll see where it says compress. Once you compress it, done. There is your zip folder. This is what you're going to upload. Make sense?
Yes.
You have to name the file first. Okay. If you do, like, say you actually create a file and you put everything in it and then zip it, what's going to happen is I'm going to get something that says archived or something different. I need it to be your last name because I put everything in one thing. And then what happens is if I don't have the person's name, I'm like, great, I have to go through and figure out who this is. And that's complete hell. Okay. So I got less than 2 minutes to tell y'all. I don't want to go through hell, please. So when it comes to whatever's going in the inside, I told you I was a little crazy. You want to make sure you do the same thing. Last name underscore. If it's a design brief you're working on, you're going to last name underscore design brief. Cool?
Yes.
So let's say it was the final project. You got 5 million other things. You'll notice that I'm gonna be telling y'all word for word exactly what you have to have in there, okay? So each time we have each week that comes up, you'll get information from me that tells you exactly what you need to be, I can't talk. So like I was saying, every single thing you do, it needs to have your last name underscore, and then whatever it is, whether it's something that's going in the folder, meaning it would, for this next one, like I said, it would be the design brief. After that, it will be, what is it? Interactive ad. And with your interactive ad, it will be, obviously Latham for my last name underscore interactive ad. So whatever's inside will be whatever the name of it is. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Last name underscore, and then whatever it is. And then the folder itself should be what the module is. Cool?
Yes.
Sweet. Everybody understood that?
Yes.
One person understood. Where the rest of y'all at?
My
know what?
husband's downstairs drumming right now, so it's loud in my house.
Are
Sorry.
you serious? I don't hear it.
I heard
I
it a
have
little
it
while
on
ago.
mute.
Doing good. Good acoustics there. Okay. So I did want to make sure, and I don't know if my screen looks different than yours, because I honestly don't know what it looks like on your end. So if you're looking at stuff behind the scene, just forgive me, okay? All right.
I have a quick question, kind of
Sure.
on the same topic. You said in one of the other recorded videos that you wanted all the papers labeled. So like on the rubric you just had up, or the module one, it has all those questions, and you had like A, B, C, D, and so forth.
Mhm.
In our paper, do you want us to put A and then what it is and then answer the questions? Or do you want me to, I don't understand when you said label each section.
I'm so glad you asked me that. Oh my God, I love questions. I get so excited because then you know what? I know that you're understanding exactly what you're doing. Y'all ever work on something you don't know really what you're doing, it makes you a little uncomfortable, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So when I say label it, let me go, I'm gonna pull it back up. I have a meeting. I'm sorry. No, I'm okay. Thank you. That was my husband. I guess he thought I was dying. I didn't tell him I had a meeting. I was outside and I came back in. Okay. So Tanya, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Tanya, what you're going to do is label it. It can be A if you want. You don't, doesn't necessarily have to have the letters, but it does have to be background, and then whatever the information is, target market, then whatever the information is, content, whatever, so on and so forth. So you do need to label each section by whatever it is, background, target market, content, visual inspiration, design considerations, and design specifications. While we're on that, so look, if I know it's 6 of y'all, at least 6 of y'all gonna get this right, okay? So let me just put this out there to you, because to me is the easiest A that you should be able to get, I promise you. Like I said, you'll determining whatever you're actually going to be doing for your magazine, you'll get your information there. As far as the content is concerned, it's completely up to you, but it's easy to say, okay, well, I'm using the content. Let's say we were redoing Vogue, right? Well, you might want to just go to Vogue and actually pull out some of their content. Easy, right? You don't have to create the wheel. It's done. Just ride the joker. Go ahead and literally copy and paste. Makes life easy, right? Not a problem with that. You want to make your own thing? Awesome. No big deal. Create your design background, whatever it's going to be. If you, so to say, want to do an article, but you're not necessarily wanting to write, fill it up with text. It doesn't have to be a literal article if you don't want it to be. Does that make sense what I just said? So if you want to make up and do your own thing, no problem. So when it comes to the content, all right, the target market, is right before that. That's the one where I was telling you, a lot of people have information missing as far as the information architecture. If you don't understand what that is, really, it's just asking you, how will your user use your magazine? You could easily think about the fact that it needs to have navigation, right? They need to know where to go. You're going to, so I'm giving you information that's literally what you should be telling me, okay? Let's see, what else? Visual inspiration. Okay, so it tells you have to evaluate 3 well-designed digital publication applications. That's easy. And when I say, a lot of times people will look at this stuff and get confused. Right from the start, I'll get questions galore about, well, I don't really understand. What do they mean by a digital publication application? They got too much verbiage here that will just confuse you. So we know what a website is. If you decide that you want to actually look at Vogue digitally, you're literally going to their website.
Mhm.
So you either have their magazine in hand, their printed magazine, right? Or literally you're going to their actual website. So it could be that it's a website, right? Or it could be, let's just say they have it as a PDF version. So it may be like an ebook, right? Because that's basically what you're going to do. You're really going to be creating an ebook. So when they have application in there or apps, that can be confusing to people because right away they think they're creating an app. You're not creating an app. You're creating a digital publication, okay? And the digital publication, the very first thing you're gonna do, and I can jump from place to place, so let me know if I've confused you or I've missed something or you have any questions, because I'll sometimes jump back and forth. When you look at, say, a Kindle book,
Mhm.
it actually is an ebook, and you're going to be doing something quite similar to that, okay? I will also have people that will actually try to do something like, oh, this is something that they would look at on their phone. Well, no, if they look at it on their phone, they should be able to look at it on their computer as well. So you're never gonna have something that's just for the phone. Now, something being responsive, that's different, so if you have a website and you look at it on your phone, sometimes it looks a little different, but it has the exact information because it just has to change for the size, right? So whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to make sure that it fits what an actual magazine would look like. So I want you to think of it in the form of like a piece of paper, 8.5 by 11. Does that make sense? So whether
Yes.
the 8.5 by 11 is vertical or horizontal, that's what I want you to think about, the size of how your magazine should look. Let's see, where am I at? So yeah, you're going to look at the visual inspiration. If you look at the questions that it's asking you, what you're going to be doing is looking for things that you like that another publication has done, whether it's the layout, whether it's, say you like the way they had the navigation, or say they actually had videos and you thought that it was cool how they had, the usage of the videos. So you're just actually getting inspiration for things that you would like to use in your magazine. That's what you're actually screenshotting. Make sense?
Yes.
Sweet.
I have a question though.
I have an answer.
So if we stick with your Vogue idea as our theme, when we go to get our visual inspiration, do you want us to stick with the same branding? So,
No,
or
you're
can we
going
just
to
go
any
to random?
publication. Right.
Okay.
You just want to find one that's done really well for what you want. So like,
Okay.
and it could be that you don't have an idea of what you want. You just start looking. That's what research is all about. You start looking and seeing things that you may like on different websites. Let me say this too. I will notice that a lot of people will actually Google and do something like, or maybe even in the resources that they found, you're going to get to an area, I want to say maybe, gosh, I don't remember which discussion it is, but it's going to be a discussion later and you're going to have to do a evaluation of forms. So let's just say in this form, what they did was they Googled something like good and bad forms. And literally copy and pasted from the article that's talking about the good and bad forms. And that's not what it's asking you to do. It's telling you to evaluate different forms. So let's say you went to Walmart and you decided that you would actually put stuff in the cart and you're going to check out, and they have the form for you to put your information in so that they know where it's going. That's your form right there. And that's the publication. It's actually the Walmart website. Does that make sense what I just said?
Yes.
Okay. So be careful with making sure that you're following through with exactly what it's asking for. It will tend to be confusing. And if it becomes confusing at all, please holler. Don't wing it and get it wrong and have points off for nothing. I need to keep it moving. My mouth is, I will jump from one thing to the next there. So Tanya, did you understand that, babe?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, design considerations, that's one. All right. It's almost like the information architecture. With design considerations, you are considering what things you will put in your actual magazine that's going to be how your audience is interacting with your magazine. So it could be that you are just telling me, okay, I will be using navigation where they will be able to click on a link to take them back to the first page or whatever the case may be. You're describing what you're doing, the design considerations, what it is that you want to do in your magazine, how your actual audience will interact with it. That's all that's asking, okay? So as you see here, it's just how's the user experience? And that's what it is. How is the user going to be experiencing your magazine? Design specifications is when it actually gets into the specifics about what you need for a digital magazine. So specifically, there's no way you can use the same settings for print that you use for digital. So let's say, for instance, images. If you're printing, you want 300 DPI at least, for the simple fact that it needs to have a nice high resolution so that it prints out clear. Make sense? Mm-hmm. But if you use that same 300 DPI in a digital magazine, you may not ever have your images load, or it may be extremely slow because they're too big. Make sense?
Yes.
What's something else? Can y'all think of anything else as far as specifics of what you should be doing different from print to magazine? I mean, to digital?
Your print, on the print, your paragraphs take up the full area of the page, and on your digital, you want it to be set in a certain area. That way it doesn't expand the whole page for people to have to keep going back and forth.
That's a really good one, yeah. Because let's be quite honest, y'all ever get to something that's really wordy and it's like, because that's how y'all feel. A lot of people feel when they look at the daggone emails or the announcements. You look at it and see all the words, it's like, nope. You don't want to distract them or push them away. So yes, you don't want the words all over the place. You want to make sure that it's, so to say, compartmentalized, right?
Yeah.
So another thing would be print is CMYK, right? So everything would be done in CMYK for print, not for digital. For digital, it would be RGB. Make sense?
Yes.
So it's asking you specific questions. Answer those specific questions and make sure you're only answering the questions. Don't give extras. That way you stay between your 500 and 700 words. Cool?
Yes.
Any questions, y'all? None? Not one tiny one? Tanya hooked y'all up, right? Okay. So let's see here. Make sure I get out of here. All right. So that's not where I wanted to be. Sorry. Right there. All right. Y'all, please pay attention. Oh my God. If you hadn't read through them, look at them. I hooked y'all up with 4 of them right from the start. Why don't they let you put an image in there? That is the worst looking picture. Is that not scary or what? I'm sure y'all probably looked at that and thought, oh, something's wrong with her. But anyway, yeah, please make sure that you are actually reading these things. It's not here for no reason. I promise you. Cool?
Yeah.
Cool?
Cool.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I promise I'll keep saying it until y'all answer. All right. So, any questions whatsoever?
Thanks for the announcement.
You gonna get them all the time.
I like how detailed they are, though. They're setting us up for success instead of some classes aren't like this. It's a wing it and hope you do it.
Oh my God. You know what? That I'm gonna be honest, that freaks me out. I say that because I've done the online thing. The worst thing for me is not knowing what I'm really supposed to do.
Yep.
Because I feel uncomfortable at that point, and then I'm actually hitting the submit button. I'm thinking, oh God, please let it be right. Please let them grade it right. You know, I don't have time for that. So I don't feel like you all do either, right? So we want to make sure. I do understand that it is a lot of information, and some people look and think, I'm not reading through this. But then if you don't read through it, then you got to struggle on your hands. So I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything. Please cite, y'all. It's so easy. Please cite. Even if you have to use a daggone citation machine, do what you got to do. Just cite, okay? I'm serious. Those are points that you just don't need to have taken off. All right, so I've gone over grading. I'm trying to think of anything that I can get to you all right now to make sure that you all are going to be in great shape. And I can't think of anything else. So remember with the discussions, like I said, it won't just be the link that you put in there. You make sure that you embed those images as well. When you put the images in, make sure they're not so big that people have to scroll to see the whole thing, or that they're so small that it's like, I don't really know what that. You want it to be where it fits on the screen well enough that even if they had to scroll just a little bit, that would be fine, but not, you know, where they can read it, you know, so make sure that it's legible. I can't think of anything else. Of course, you know, tomorrow night, your first discussion has to be done, right? Y'all, please get y'all. I've never had a class where it's Wednesday and I've not got one person. I was thinking to myself, okay, do they see it? Is something wrong? I don't know what's going on. No one has done it. So
I'm working on it.
Make sure y'all get in there. Don't scare me half to death. All right. So are there any questions at all for me whatsoever? None. I really appreciate you all chiming in. It lets me know that you all care and that you want to be successful in this class. And I'm just going to say, I want you to do extremely well. I'm going to stop sharing it. I want you to do extremely well and make sure that you are on top of the class. Cool?
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Y'all have a good one now.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Bye.
Have a good evening.